of Dad, I knew because I could see the kid putting, you know, and I said, then when
You went to school. She would drive you sometimes. What was it? A kindergarten to eighth grade, or what?
when she would drive us, we were just, we were tiny because they didn't have, like, for instance, they had us little kids. We're playing in the sand. The sand is still there because my friend, that she went with me different places, and we were going to go see Aunt Joe talk and so forth. I says, wait a minute. I said, I'm going to look over here where we used to play with the sand and see if it's still there. Still there. The sand was still there, and it just kind of, you know, make you feel how. Let's see.
You said you would go with your friend to hear Aunt Joe talk. Who's Aunt Joe?
My Aunt Josephine Guerrero. Okay, now she was being honored that day. She's being honored, and so I have my friend, but all of us from school, the school were right here, and then my friend is going to be over here somewhere. So then, because then now, all I could see is that they took Aunt, but I couldn't go and leave my place. Well, they honored Joe because we had it, we happened to see it, they took a picture or whatever, we knew that she was being honored and so forth. Then I finally said, I better go see what happened to my friend. Well, she was inside, to the right, and she was not feeling good. I said, you know what, I always have bread, sweets, you have something, you'll be feeling fine. So I didn't get a chance to see the auditorium where we graduated, and blah, 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 blah. But another time my granddaughter came, then I went and I saw all pictures when we were kids, and then I saw where we graduated, and a lot of beautiful memories when we were kids. And Mrs. Noel was our fourth grade teacher, and she was really stern. She was a redhead. And so the kids, well, there was two boys that were kind of yakety, and so she would look, and she said, and she was, stop doing that! And she'd walk to the back to the closet, and I think she probably had a little nip, who knows. So, but she was the best also. She taught us our timetables like this, our division. I mean, she knew how to teach. But she was we had great teachers. They didn't get married till later. Everything was just the kids. We learned our timetables, our divisions, poetry, what do you call it? When we were with Miss Zanker, we learned how to play ball, baseball, tennis, and also during springtime, I can't remember the name of the, it was, I can't remember what you call it, it's strings like this that you go in and out, and it has a name.
Maypole.
The maypole. I mean, that had to be for springtime. Miss Zanker taught us everything. Taught us how to sew, how to cook, and the maple was beautiful. Then baseball. And I liked baseball, and I was good at it in high school. I liked tennis because where we lived on 13th Street, there was a tennis place there that I go and hit the ball. Nobody to play with, nobody was around. I was the only one that liked things like that. So then Miss Zanker did a lot for the classes, and then my sister-in-law was her friend. They would go do the square dancing she'd take her there, and Miss Anchor was young and never got married, and just a beautiful woman who helped this and helped that. And so, anyway, she had two kids that were her sister's kids. She raised them, and they lived out of Milpitas, a big house. So she helped them. She helped one of our friends that used to do our lawn. She said that she had him and her kid, took them, and they had to get a job, and they learned how to do this kind of a job, and they got paid well. That's the kind of woman she was, helping everybody.
What's another, tell me a good memory from Milpitas?
Oh, you want to talk about you walking with your horse with your friend, about the
Well,
horse?
I think that I'll just go with my girlfriend.
She just passed away a couple weeks ago.
What is the story?
My girlfriend was it. She was like a tomboy. She had a horse. So, anyway, there's 200 people or less than that. So, she had, here's Main Street, let's see. Here's where we live. And then right here is where the street is. And across the street she had her house, and then they had a horse. And she put her horse to the back. And she also, every day, because that was money, she would always have the fruit. The father up in the valley would get it, and she always had fruit, blah, 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 blah. So then she sold that. Now, she has her horse. She's going to have to run it. And there was no Mervyn, no nothing. So I have my bike, and she has that. So then now she gets on the horse, she runs it back, and now, take care. So she was just, we were very close. We go to a happy, I forget the name of that, it's a little place where you can go, they have people there that did horses, little horses going up. Auntie went to the club up there, and they wanted me to go on the horse. I couldn't get on the horse. Never again. I don't like horses. But I waited. But Auntie went there with a whole crew. Midnight serenade. So another time, Doris and Louie and I, there was like a pool. So I said, well, let's go in that pool. It was warm. And so then we went in with our clothes. And then it's warm and it feels good. So then we went, I said, well, it's what do we call it, a spring. So I went over and touched it, and it's warm. I said, oh my God, this is great. So we never forgot that. That was the greatest thing that we did. Not only that, Louis, at that time, I always carried food because he had to eat at a certain time. We didn't have to run to the doctor's store. We didn't have to run to the restaurants. We didn't have to go anywhere. Always had that, had water, sandwiches, and all. So we were there, and we ate and all. And I would always tell him, and that horse didn't want to go, because I had to wait so long, and it was kind of scary, all by myself there. But on the other hand, being with Louis, that I knew he was not going to be there that long, I didn't say anything that he would, for him to say, like, oh, I won't be here long, or whatever. I said, well, my good memories that Doris and you and I were out in we didn't have we took our shoes off and we were all wet. I can't recall that we minded. So we had a great time, and blah, 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 and we ate. I always had water, always had sandwiches, or if we didn't, I'd buy it and so forth, and we always went out. We always had a place.